Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? So I was able to catch a wonderful interview, short and sweet, to the point. Always fun to watch and listen to the great, world-renowned, incredible Derrick James. In my opinion, the best coach in the sport of boxing, has been for the last 2, 3, 4 years now. Just in my opinion, you dig what I'm saying? But he did an interview with Fight Hype, and they was talking about Frank Martin and Jackson Marinez's upcoming fight, which is going to be on the Jamal Charlo undercard. I believe they're still doing it on Jamal Charlo's undercard. He was going to fight Ricardo Nunes, but that fight, of course, got postponed. Now he's going to fight... he's actually going to fight Jackson Marinez, which I think is a better match. I think Jackson Marinez is a better fighter. He's a fresher fighter. He's famous for having a very competitive fight with Rolly Romero, and a lot of people thought he won that fight. So they was at that press conference, or, they had the little face-off and all that. They talked about the Errol Spence's fight with Yordenis Ugas, and, Derrick James talked about how people were making comments about Yordenis Ugas just standing in front of Errol Spence because Derrick James admired Ugas' ability to take that punishment even with having, dramatic injuries, like devastating injuries, shit that the normal human being, wouldn't be able to endure or continue to fight through. And as you can see, even when they stopped the fight in the 10th round, Yordenis Ugas, he visibly was upset and he wanted to continue to fight. But he obviously had a cracked, broken orbital bone amongst other, devastating injuries and ailments. So Derrick James was admiring Ugas' strength and his fortitude and his heart and just his mental as a fighter, man, and just having that will to continue. And then, he was like, man, a lot of people said Ugas was just standing in front of Errol, like that was like really trying to take something away from Errol Spence, basically, making it sound like he was a stationary target and he just was on a platter for Errol Spence. But Derrick James basically said the same shit I've been trying to tell y'all this whole time, bruh. You have to fight Errol Spence. That's literally the only way you not gonna outbox Errol Spence. Not in a traditional sense. That don't mean that you can't win a decision. I think there's a select type of fighter, and he gotta be a certain type of size too. And I'm talking about 2 or 3 weight classes above that can possibly use his length, maybe some hand speed, great IQ. Maybe he can get a decision without necessarily stopping Errol Spence, hurting him real bad, or just bullying him or some shit like that. But it's not likely. In and around Errol Spence's weight class, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a guy who's going to be able to just outbox him in the traditional sense. Like Derrick James said, all that moving and shit, that shit ain't gonna work. You're not gonna be able to just move around and treat Errol Spence like he's your average pressure fighter. He's way more than that, bruh. Just because his primary style involves him coming forward and leaning on your motherfucking ass and putting pressure on you and breaking you down, that doesn't mean that that's the gist of Errol Spence, because it's not. Errol Spence is a complete fighter. He's one of the guys, we've seen him box. I don't even know why we even talk about this. We've seen him box off of the back foot, behind a jab, using distance. We've seen him counterpunch multiple times throughout his career, just mixing it up. Sometimes he uses it a lot. Sometimes he uses it sparingly and then just say, fuck it, I'm finna beat your ass. We've seen him bully guys, cut the ring off. We've seen him fight in a phone booth match, chest to chest, and just going toe to toe. We've seen Errol Spence present so many different styles, and it's crazy to me that people still look at him as just some dumb bull coming forward mindlessly, waiting to get outboxed. why the fuck you think out of all of the guys that Errol Spence fought, Kell Brook is an extremely athletic fighter. He's not no guy that just sit there and stand in the pocket with you. Kell Brook can fucking move. Lamont Peterson, go back and watch Lamont Peterson versus Danny Garcia. I thought he won that fight barely because he spent the whole first 6 or 7 rounds moving. And he waited to the end of the fight to start walking Danny down. But go back and watch Lamont Peterson. That dude got swift feet. He can move. Look how well he moved in the first 6 or 7 rounds versus Danny Garcia. Go back to Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri has some of the best feet that we've seen in recent years when we just talking about pure boxing. This dude won champions. He became a champion just off of pure boxing and moving. No power whatsoever. No electric offensive skills or repertoire or arsenal, anything like that. This dude competed. He went 12 with Manny Pacquiao just off of the fact that he had good feet. So think about this. Guys like Chris Algieri, guys like Sean Porter who have great feet. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has been able to just move against Errol Spence. I've seen Yordenis Ugas be able to move. He's a counterpuncher primarily, but he's a guy that does like to kind of sit in front of you and use his size because most of the guys that he fight, he's bigger than them, and he tried to do that with Errol Spence thinking that he was going to be more physically imposing with Errol Spence, and that shit didn't work. But I've seen Yordenis Ugas move before. You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is that why you think none of these guys who normally have shown you that they have good foot game and shown you that they have a range of mobility that allows them to evade pressure fighters like, well, you ain't seen no pressure fighter like Errol Spence, but why you think none of these dudes just move around the ring and just try to box and stay away from punches and, just Mikey Garcia, Mikey Garcia got good feet, but his shit real subtle. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen Mikey Garcia move, but not necessarily how, like a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson or something like that. As a matter of fact, I would probably compare Mikey Garcia's foot game more to a Shakur Stevenson because Shakur Stevenson don't really like move, or he's not fleet of foot like that. He masters distance. That's how Mikey Garcia got a lot of his wins, because he mastered distance and he counterpunch your ass right there in a certain range so he can hit you and you can't hit him. The point I'm making is this, bro. Why you think none of these guys just moved around the ring? If that's the way you beat Errol Spence, why you think none of these guys had done that shit before? You know what I'm saying? You have to fight Errol Spence. You have to end up hurting him at some point in the fight to either stop him or hurt him bad enough to deter him and take away his will to come forward. You have to discourage him from coming forward and bringing that pressure. And the reporter tried to get Derrick James to give away the game plan, but he was like, well, what you gonna do when Terrence Crawford start moving around and stuff? He was like, I don't know what we gonna do. He know exactly what they gonna do. They gonna cut that motherfucking ring off. Now, all the particulars, the ins and outs, the small nuances, those are the things that Derrick James didn't want to go into detail about. But they got some shit that they working on, small shit, whether it be doubling and tripling up the jab, whether it be throwing a jab in different variations, whether it be certain, angles that you come in and cut the ring off. They working on it. I'll leave that to them. But ultimately, what it's gonna look like is Errol Spence cutting that motherfucking ring off and making Terrence Crawford fight. That's what the fuck is gonna happen. That's why I'm telling you. He only got a puncher's chance to win. He not gonna outbox Errol Spence and make him look like some fucking dumb pressure fighter who don't know how to box, who don't have no IQ, and he just gonna move around and just stay clean all night. That's not gonna fucking happen. I keep telling y'all that shit. And I love the fact that Derrick James brought that to the forefront. Like, you think these fighters stand in front of Errol Spence and just sit there because they want to? No, they don't got no fucking choice. Because when he cut that ring off, where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? You have no choice but to stand there and fight. And you know why? Because your gas tank ain't good enough to move all damn night. Because Errol Spence ain't finna get tired. So if Errol Spence don't get tired and you get tired, what the fuck you think gonna happen? It's better to just try to fight him at a certain distance, mid-range, and try to and get you one in. That's your best option. Because if you think you finna just move around all night, you gonna lose on the cards off top. Because Errol Spence gonna be the aggressor. He gonna be landing jabs while he coming forward. And then at some point, he gonna corner you, get you on the ropes, or put you in a position where y'all chest to chest, and he wailing out shots on your ass, physically breaking you down, and also impressing the judges by landing all type of shots on the neck, the arms, your temple, on your hips, every goddamn word. If he not landing clean, he hitting something. That's why they pad work is like that. They pad work is not, the pad work ain't specifically to hit you in a certain place. The pad work is throwing punches at a perfect angle for accuracy, and not just accuracy to hit you right in your jaw, or to hit you right in the eye, or to hit you right in your kidneys, or right in the solar plexus. It's placement. So even if you block those punches, even if you block that area, that punch is still coming there with accuracy and thud and power, precision, and that bitch, you gonna feel that motherfucker even if you block. That's why you see motherfuckers getting hit in the neck. They try to duck down, or they, turn their body a certain way. You see Earl still landing shit. It might not be clean every time, but he landing on something. And that shit slowly but surely break guys. That's why you see guys with busted eyes and broken orbital bones and broken ribs and all type of shit. They be fucked up. That's why you see that. Because even though he not landing clean sometimes, the way they do their pad work, that's why you see it's like like everything is just perfect. And that shit consistent for 12 rounds or however long the fight lasts. All I'm saying, bro, all that move, this shit don't just go for Terrence Crawford. This shit go for anybody. If you think you finna outbox Errol Spence, forget about it, bro. You gonna have to fight that man. You gonna have to hurt him. You gonna have to knock him out. That's what it's gonna be. If Terrence Crawford and them come into the ring with a game plan, I'm finna just treat Errol Spence just like any old regular pressure fighter and just move out the way all night. And I think I'm finna just use a jab and box. He gonna get his ass whooped, or he gonna lose on the cards. He gonna get chased down at some point. Terrence Crawford don't have no choice but to fight. Period. Just like Ugas did, just like anybody else. They don't got no choice but to fight. As simple as that. Derrick James and Errol Spence have mastered the art of cutting off the ring and controlling distance and making guys fight where they want them to fight and imposing their style on the opponent. What I tell y'all all the time, the fighter who wins is the fighter who imposes his style on the opponent. Whatever style Errol Spence chooses to fight that night, if he's able to impose that shit on Terrence Crawford, it's over with. Unless Terrence Crawford just catch him with a crazy ass shot and knock him out, which I said every time it's possible. But that's what he gonna have to do. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Did y'all see that interview with Derrick James on Fight Hype? What did you think about it? You see, I've been saying this shit the whole time. Me and Derrick James, we right there. You feel me? I be understanding what the fuck going on, man. But look, they still got to go in there on fight night and put that shit all together. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.